channel talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies tonight with a low around 26, Saturday cloudy with a high near 38, and Saturday night heavy snow with a low around 27. Step into Fort's a Children's Theater Company. It's an interactive fort-building adventure where theatrical elements and towering cardboard boxes spark shared creative play. Weekday availability during local spring breaks, March 17th through April 3rd. Tickets at childrenstheater.org. That's childrenstheater.org.
Good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, it is Friday, and we have our friend, State Senator Mary Kunesh on, and it's great to see you as always checking in. How was your week? Busy as usual. Thank you so much again for checking in.
Oh, for sure. Hamatakiape, everyone. It's been, yes, another very busy legislative week, but, you know, we're doing the work that we need to get done to ensure that Minnesotans have those resources that they need to survive or even to, you know, just live their day-to-day life. And one of the really big things that happened at the legislature in the Minnesota Senate, and this happened on Wednesday, we had a really good floor hearing about passing emergency rent and utility assistance. We know that the effects of Metro surge are not over. My community especially has been really hard hit, where our community members are still not leaving their homes, still not sending their kids to school, unable to go to work because either the business that they worked in is not open yet, or they are afraid that they will be picked up because it's still happening in my community. Those things have not abated. And so this assistance, which is really great, is going towards our communities members that need it the most. We passed $40 million for emergency rental and utility assistance to keep Minnesotans in their homes and to keep them safe. And then this also goes towards utilities, because we know that the rising costs of just everyday living. I mean, oh my gosh, I went to the grocery store for the first time in a bit last night, and I was dumbfounded by the cost of just about everything. You know, food, gas is going up like crazy because we are now embroiled in that war again. Healthcare is out of control. And so this is one way that the Senate found that they might be able to help our members. But the thing is that even though we passed this off of the House, off the Senate floor, and the governor is in support of it, it also has to get passed off of the House floor. And I'm not sure, I'm honestly not optimistic that that might happen. And so, we will see if that actually happens. We're hoping that it does. But I just want to point out, and something really important about this is that the dollars, the $40 million is actually from the balance of a class action suit by a woman named Geraldine Tyler. She was an elderly woman that lost her home due to foreclosure and then tax foreclosure. And then when the county sold her home, they made more money off of it than what was on it. And so she owned I think $15,000 in property tax, and then the county seized the property, sold it for $40,000. And so there was that $25,000 surplus that should have gone to Geraldine Tyler. And so she sued the county and she won. And those dollars now that were not distributed in that class action suit are now able to help community members. Hopefully, will be the nest egg for helping our community members. So her legacy continues on, and in this month of being, Women's Appreciation or Women's Month,
Right.
History Month, I think we have to recognize Geraldine Tyler as a hero of the community, and not just letting it happen, but actually, as I said, it's a legacy and it continues to give. So thank you, Geraldine Tyler, and all those that made that happen.
Well, and again, thank you for bringing that up, that it's Women's Month. And I appreciate the work that you do. And as Native Americans, women in power, and not only in power, but just the structure of most tribes is that the women do make the decisions and the men back them up. And I just want to say a big Pinigi, thank you for all your work. And, you have some strong daughters too, and got to give them a shout out too, and my wife and the other women legislators that are really doing the work.
It is my, I don't know if I want to say pleasure, but I do get a lot of satisfaction. I do recognize that someday perhaps my legacy will continue in some of the work that I do. And, our philosophy is leave the world in a better place than you found it, right? And if that, maybe I can put that on my tombstone someday. But yeah, it's fascinating to watch the work that women are doing these days, standing up and taking leadership. I know that if at the end of this next election cycle, I have a feeling we will see more women in our state legislature, and especially in the Minnesota Senate. We already have a majority women, which is, kind of amazing. And until the death of Melissa Hortman, the legislative leadership in the House and the Senate were, predominantly were women, Erin Murphy and Melissa Hortman. And so we owe them, so much thanks. And I think back to my auntie, who was the first chairwoman of the Standing Rock Nation, Josephine Gates Kelly. And, she stood up and fought for their rights when she was the first woman to do that. She traveled to Chicago and to Washington, D.C. to ensure that her people were getting the best deals. Sometimes they had to hitchhike, sometimes they had to beg rides. But she did it, and she fought for water rights. I kind of think of her as one of the first water protectors out there. But we can look around. I mean, we look around in our community today. Authors, artists, directors of nonprofits. I mean, we look at every aspect of our community, and we have strong Native women and strong women advocating for all of us.
I like how you talked about the next 7 generations, and that's really what we're talking about here. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out before we hit the break here, and give a shout out to the all-woman City Council of St. Paul. We forget about that, but that's an amazing feat.
And Mayor, first
And
woman.
Mayor.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much. So much good going on, and I'm glad you let it off the show with all that good information. And we are here with State Senator Mary Kunesh from the great state of Minnesota, and we're going to take a quick break. You are listening to this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming Indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
Unwanted sexting or photos, inappropriate jokes, even tickling or wrestling can feel like a violation. Catcalling, cornering, or groping, getting them drunk or high for sex, recording sexual acts without permission, hurting someone because of their sexual orientation, raping a family member, a child, a date, a friend, a stranger, purchasing a human being for sex. You make the choice every single time. Sexual violence is many things. Make a choice. Do not do it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are with our friend State Senator Mary Kunesh from the great state of Minnesota. Again, happy Women's Month to you and all the hardworking women out there all over Turtle Island. We really appreciate you. And I guess for me, every month is Women's Month. So we just want to acknowledge this month, but every month is. So thanks again, State Senator, for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure. I come from a long line of really strong women. I have 5 sisters. Every one of them are, kind of badass in their own way. Like you said, I've got some pretty great daughters. So, proud to be around these people.
Well, we talked a little bit about what's happening at the Capitol, and I know one of the bills that you authored is really important, not only to the state, but with our Native community. And I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about that bill.
Right. So this week, I had a hearing on Senate File 3749, and that bill just basically aims to ensure that the legal definition of the state grain reflects both the botanical names and the indigenous cultural terminology. But it also, we were able to talk about the importance of wild rice to Native American communities and our identity. But what it also would create was a statement of the inherent rights of the wild rice in Minnesota. And that's where that hearing kind of sort of fell apart, shall we say, when our GOP members really take offense. I mean, really and truly offense to the fact that we would consider giving inherent rights to wild rice. And the reason that we need to do that is so that we are able to ensure that there are protections put in place. You know, the DNR does not like that at all. They feel it would really open them up to lawsuits. But, you know, when in the discussion, we had other legislators kind of belittling this whole effort, and there's some really ugly social media out there about it. But, you know, Senator Drazkowski was quick to sort of make fun of the language in there because we corrected the spelling for monomen, and we added the Dakota word, sing for the wild rice as well. And, you know, he tried, and it was written in the, you know, the way that we write Dakota, Lakota, you know, letters in itself. And he's like, what are these symbols in here? And why do we need to have this in here? And then it was like, well, I don't know about how we, you know, putting foreign languages, non-English words into legislation, into our statutes. Well, we do that all of the time. And, you know, one of our very strong legislative leaders, Erin May Quaid, quickly pointed out that look at our state seal, right? L'Étoile du Nord, that's French. And now we have Dakota language on there. And so, you know, they just, you know, really picked at it and were, you know, in many ways disrespectful. This is a guy that loves to mispronounce my name. I mean, I've been serving with this guy more or less for 10 years, and he will still almost intentionally, I feel, you know, mispronounce my name. So now I'm going to start correcting him. But I think, you know, we had that hearing, introduced it to the public, and we're getting a lot of support for it. I think there are a lot of people out there that recognize the destructive forces that have affected the, you know, the shrinkage and the less and less lakes that are able to be healthy enough to have this sacred grace, this sacred grain, rice, grow on the water. And, you know, we'll continue to advocate for wild rice and other beings that are very important to our indigenous communities. But yeah, the aftermath was not nice.
Oh my goodness. That's just, I don't even know what to say about that. I've seen this guy and he keeps on getting voted in again. It's amazing if people knew how rude this guy was. It's just, he was rude to me.
He's not running again. He's moving. But you know, who knows who's going to fill that seat? And as I always say, elections have consequences. And so those people that are down in that area where Senator Drazkowski lives, just know that there's a really good candidate out there. And please, anywhere you are in Minnesota, look to who is running in your community, whether it's for school board, county, city council, any of those things, and make your vote count. Make your vote really count, and hold those people that are elected accountable to meeting the needs not only of the broader community, but the community of unique groups such as our indigenous people.
Well, you've done a lot of bills over the years that we've talked about, and kudos to you. Big, matter of fact, let me hit the applause button here on my board. But there's legislators out there that don't do any of that. They just show up, it seems like. Is
Yeah.
that a correct assumption?
Yeah, I would say there are some that have very narrow focuses. I mean, I always say I'm that, musical Oklahoma, and the character sings the song "I'm Just a Girl Who Can't Say No." That's kind of what I am. When people bring me good legislation, no matter what area it is, if it's in healthcare, education, agriculture, environment, public safety, if it's a good bill, I want to be able to do something. I want to be able to get some of those done. And again, this year I've had a few really good ones come to me, and I don't know if I talked to you about Allison's Law at all. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can bring it up again to our listeners for sure.
Yeah, so I was asked to carry this bill called Allison Law by Jenna Williams. She is the aunt of Allison Lucier, who lost her life to violence. And it was just, the investigation wasn't really an investigation, and whatever they did was not done very well. And so in this bill, it proposes changes to the Minnesota law to strengthen how suspicious death, especially those potentially connected to domestic violence, are investigated by coroners, medical examiners, and law enforcement. And when this law passes, it's going to create new procedures. And there's going to be mandates. Mandates is like the dirty word in the legislature, but mandated training. It expands family rights, and it ensures that there is a closer connection across agencies when these violent crimes are happening. And so I'm still waiting for the bill, like the jackets, the actual physical bill that I can drop and get a bill number for it. But we know that, it's flagged in public safety that this bill is coming, and hopefully we'll get in there and have a hearing on this this year. We have a short year of legislation this year, and again, tons of legislation being put forward. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to have this bill heard too, because the violence against women, and I have worked hard on MMIR issues, is not unique just to Indigenous women, but the domestic violence is just terrible. And it's so funny because people will say, oh my gosh, where is this happening, and how is this happening, and who's doing it? Well, men, first of all. That's the easiest answer. And it's happening everywhere. It's not just a homeless situation, an addiction situation, a poverty situation. We see this domestic violence happening everywhere. And even when women with means come forward, there's often limitations on so many different ways that we are addressing it. And I'm pretty certain we will have very strong support for this bill.
Wow, that's great. That was really great. You have to put some teeth in these bills, it sounds like. And I know Jenna's story, and that amazing work that she's been really bringing this out. And thank you so much for authoring this bill, because it's huge to our community in so many ways. Hey, we got like 30 seconds left. What do you got going on this week?
Well, next week we will start to hear policy bills in the Minnesota legislature. I'm the chair of Education Finance, and we aren't going to have a lot of money this year, if anything. So looking for ways to maintain what we've got and build and use the dollars that we do have in the very best way.
Well, again, Big Peeny Gigi, thank you so much for coming on and giving us an update. Great work as always. And again, thank you so much for coming on our show and expressing all these good things that are happening and in the struggles too. So I appreciate you, State Senator.
Wopi Latanka, thank you as well.
Right on. Up next, Bob Blake from Red Lake. This is Native Roots Radio. Ho-wow. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
If the statistics say that 1 in 3 Native women and 1 in 6 Native men have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime, it means our whole community is affected by sexual violence. 1 is too many. Don't stand by, stand up. Don't engage in acts of sexual violence, and shut down the dirty jokes, the gossip, the victim blaming and shaming. As a community, we can change the way we respond. Contact the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition to attend a workshop to learn more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Agejagwa Desnigowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Simas presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
Aho, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies tonight with a low around 26, Saturday cloudy with a high near 38, and Saturday night heavy snow with a low around 27. Unleash your cravings at Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Dive into a world of flavor with their signature Philly steak, tantalizing turkey bacon avocado, and an array of mouth-watering options like crispy chicken and fish. Pair it perfectly with freshly fried fries or golden onion rings. Unforgettable sandwiches. That's Maverick's Real Roast Beef. AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Hi, it's Dr. Evan Adams, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. Hey, Victor, you better be listening.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio, and we are with our friend Bob Blake from Red Lake. We love saying that, and also Robert Blake, Solar Bear with the Solar News and Sports. Great to see you. I see you're sporting your Vikings cap. That's awesome. Hey, before we get into too much really deep about what's happening nationally, solar-wise and renewable, I saw you you were in New York. Let's talk. Well, first of all, welcome, Bob, and thanks for coming on as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Robert. Yeah, it was a really exciting trip to be invited to the Clinton Global Initiative. Um, I think it's their spring retreat or winter retreat. I forgot what they called it. But Native Son was invited to join this like really cool group of people. And I had no idea, Robert, that this world existed, first of all. It's just, yeah, I had no idea. And then the second thing is um, the uh, the people that were there were nonprofits,
Mhm.
ABC, Comedy Central. Uh, it was like I was like all these different folks in this room. One guy, um, he's the guy that leads all the humanitarian efforts in Haiti.
Wow.
That was amazing talking with him, and what also interesting enough too, Robert, is I was put they put you into these research groups or these groups, and they like discuss like trends and things happening or what do we need to be focused there's like I guess they have different titles, right, per these like events or whatever. And I was put into this group, and I noticed that these folks were dressed really nice, Robert. And I was like, and I was, in a just casual, business casual, but these were like all the heavy hitters in my group that were on stage speaking with the Clintons. And Robert, there was questions that got asked to me. I spoke my truth. I did mention Native Roots Radio. I
Oh,
did mention
what?
their show, the
Oh,
Solar Bear with the Solar News. I did mention it to them. So hopefully we get some reactions out there from that. But um Eh, yeah, exactly. So that was cool. So Robert, you got mentioned at the Clinton Global Initiative, a shout out.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was just simply amazing. The folks that I was able to come across, some of the follow-ups that we are currently doing, and then to allow my staff to be there too, was just really gracious of them. I think we were the only folks with 3 people there from an organization
Cool.
because someone mentioned, oh, there's 3 of you. So,
Yes.
but yeah, thank you, Clinton Global Initiative, and the folks there that work there, and all the great work that they do. It was simply amazing.
Yeah, that was and getting, selfies with, the former president is cool as heck, and the first lady, and, well, I should say the attorney general, and, that's just amazing, and I'd have been in on there too with the selfies.
Oh, Robert, I have to tell you, so when I went up to President Clinton, and he's talking to some other people, and he looked at me because I'm standing like right to the left of him, right next to him, and I said, President Clinton, would it be okay if I could get a photo with you? And he opens up his right arm and he says, yeah, get on in here. That's what he said, everyone. He said,
Well,
he opened up his right arm and he said, yeah, get on in here.
they say, and I experienced this with Obama. They say that Clinton has an unbelievable presence when he's in the room that gravitates to people, all kinds of people, and that's the way I felt with Obama too. But they said Clinton has that too.
Oh, the energy, Robert. The energy came off this guy. And he's an older gentleman, Robert.
Yeah.
But you should have seen him, how he worked the room.
Hmm.
It's like the guy never lost a step. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But you could tell, I mean, he's getting older, you can tell.
Mhm.
And then when I went to the secretary, right? Secretary
Mhm.
Clinton,
Yeah.
I said, Secretary, because they're both like on opposite sides of the room working it, right? And I went over to Secretary Clinton And I asked her, I said, Secretary Clinton, would it be okay if I got a picture with you? And she looks right at me and she says, who are you? And she looks and she grabs my badge and she says, Robert Blake, Native Son Community Power Development. And then she says, what do you do, Robert Blake? And I said, I work with renewable energy, education, told her everything. And I says, I specifically focus in on tribal communities. She says, I like that. I like hearing that, Robert Blake. She says, get in here. Let's take a picture then. And it was just so like mom-like or something, grandma-like.
Well, I told you that picture when I met Obama, right? Did I ever tell you the story? I was going to tell him off and say, you need to free Leonard Peltier, tell Biden to free Leonard Peltier, and you need to, I had a list, and you really disappointed at us with Standing Rock. Well, I got to meet him. He stuck his hand out and he said, nice to meet you, Robert. And I wanted to hug and kiss him. And 13 seconds later, I was gone with my, without mentioning any of that because of the person. It was like, in 13 seconds, I was gone. It was like, oh, wow, that was interesting because of just the, him reaching out and just the aura, or I don't even know, the charisma, all those things that some of these leaders have, that it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Secretary Clinton and the President Clinton were just gracious guests and amazing. And I feel so fortunate now that Native Son is a part of this organization now. I just got my first email to my first meeting, follow-up meeting. So it's amazing. And just really, really grateful and thankful to have really been there. It's still kind of hitting me because it was just Monday. It's Friday now, and I felt like I lost a day or two, but I don't know. It's really weird right now, so I'm just trying to still gather my thoughts and realize that I got to move on with got so much work to do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, next time you're in New York, let me know and I'll go meet the president with you too. Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Hey, we got the Solar Bear with the solar news, and then we're going to talk a little sports in the next segment. Got a few minutes here. What's going on renewable across Turtle Island?
Yeah, Robert, so much happening. And being out there in New York, talking to some of these investment bankers and some of these folks out there, it seems as though that everybody is just waiting for the orange one to leave because everything is going to get back to normal again. So that's really exciting, and that's good news for the world and for the planet, for the environment. There's a lot happening. Obviously, there was a lot of protections and a lot of work that needs to be put back together because the orange one tore down a lot of this stuff. So our politicians and our leaders are going to have their hands are going to have their work cut out for them. But what's great is that I think what a lot of people are doing is they're, learning from what happened the last time here and to be ready. So, and it sounds like to me, like also tribal country is getting really focused and prepared for the next, drinking out of a fire hose with all the, money that will come down for renewable energy projects and whatnot. So really excited to see where this is going and hopefully everything works out.
You don't mind if I just change the subject for a second? And I think when this person passes away, the whole world is going to celebrate. I feel like there's going to be people in the streets celebrating. It'll be like the end of World War II. It's just what we're being drugged through right now, federally. I think it's just going to be a world celebration, and I hate to be morbid, but I really feel that way.
Yeah, I was able to sit, up in front of the plane, Robert. I don't want to say, but I was able to sit in front of the plane there, and next to me was an individual who sits on a board of a state university. Let's just say that. And we had some really good talks, and she's got we talked about this. And as unfortunate as it is, it does seem, Robert, like, a lot of people are really going to be happy when this administration goes.
Yeah.
And to see how they are literally trying to collapse this country, to, cripple the economy specifically, is just unfathomable. It's unconscionable what they're doing, and I think everyone can see it. I mean, even down in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, I mean, you're looking at a possible Democrat getting elected down there.
Yeah. Well, I heard too, and I talked to Robert Lilligren yesterday about this. I heard that if you didn't win by 15% or more in your district, you're in deep trouble as a Republican.
Yes, Robert, and that's happening across the board. And the Republicans need to understand this guy is tearing this party apart. He's taking all of you with him, and the more and more that all of you stand with him and stand by him, that is only going to hurt yourself and the party at large. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, definitely. And well, we got some work to do in Minnesota here. There's people that are just on his bandwagon that do not care about their constituents, and we need to really be proactive and talk about that and really support the people that are progressive. Hey, we are here with Bob Blake, with Solar Bear with the Solar News and Sports, and we're going to take a quick break. And this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Ho!
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
We are your relatives.
We are your relations.
Brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters.
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
Hi, I'm Tiergan.
And I'm Hadley.
We're two of the very first listeners, and we're
still listening to Native Roots Radio.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Bob. This is Robert Pilot with Bob Blake, and this is the Solar Bear with the Solar News. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're always great to have Bob Blake on, and we're talking about the Solar Bear with the news and sports. Welcome back, Robert. Wow, what a great last segment there, the things that are happening in Solar Bear and Native Sun. It's just exciting, and everyone's getting ready for the next few years when things are going to settle back to the right way. So again, thanks, Robert.
Yeah, absolutely, Robert. We've got some Solar Bear with the solar news here happening. And I just want to get into this first story. There is a bill in Illinois, Robert, that is incentivizing data center developers to invest in clean energy by offering them fast interconnections and uninterrupted power that isn't curtailed during high demand periods. So, what this basically is saying, Robert, is that this bill that these legislators in Illinois are going to submit to their legislation there, is that data center developers can have faster interconnection if they use renewable energy, which is a good thing. Second thing is that it's not going to be priced the same way as other folks would be priced in high demand period times, right? So let's just hypothetically say you use your air conditioner during the day when everybody else is using it, you're going to get charged out at that top rate. Well, these data center developers ain't going to have to worry about that. So, I think this is good. And the only reason why I think it's good is just because they're using renewable energy, and they're looking at long-term financial ness for these data centers and incentivizing them to be able to use renewable. So, and I've always said this from the very beginning, Robert, if these data centers use renewable energy, that it's way better than having to burn a bunch of coal up in the air. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or natural gas, right? So as long as they use renewables, that's fine. The other point about this though too is my also thought is I don't really know if AI is gonna go as fast as everybody thinks it's gonna go. I mean, it's gonna go fast for everyone, but I don't think the adoption and the way everybody's making this so scary, Robert, that all these jobs are gonna be lost like that. I'm kind of wondering, Robert, if those are just the Wall Street guys trying to get more money for their valuations of their companies so they can get in and get out. You know what I mean, Robert?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm wondering, I'm trying to call what do you call something or something, because I think that there's some end arounding that these Wall Street guys are doing with this AI hype right now. So because when I look at the outlay and the amount of money that they have to put up for these data centers, they have to get that money somewhere. So it's all about creating the hype to be able to pay for that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, everyone. Solar Bear is a little skeptical on these. Well, first of all, he's skeptical on AI data centers, but he's also skeptical on these Wall Street guys trying to push all this hype around. Everyone's going to lose their job. I don't think so, Robert. I think it's going to, the adoption and the way that we have to move into this is going to be a little bit longer than what they're claiming. So that's just my opinion.
Well, and two, I just want to remind everyone that Chat GTP, where everybody's on, there's other more politically friendly AIs to use, just to throw that out there, because Chat GTP is run by
Oh, you're on mute, Robert. You just hit mute.
Yeah, so many things. They have their eyes on so many things.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true, Robert. And here's another interesting story. That over in North Dakota, a federal government, the federal government asked a judge to toss out a $28 million judgment in the state's favor involving Dakota Access Pipeline protests so that two sides can work out a settlement.
Huh.
I tell you, oh boy. When did we have to go to court to exercise our rights as citizens, Robert. And when did we, I mean, you know what I mean, Robert? Like, I mean, this is freedom of speech is like one of the amendments, and we're basically they're asking Dakota Access Pipeline protesters to settle out of court for exercising their civil rights. That's what this is about, Robert.
Oh my gosh. And as you know, we started the show because of Standing Rock and the pipelines 10 years ago. This is our 10th year on Native Roots Radio, and it's just a never ending here. 10 years.
Yeah, Robert. And so I'm just wondering, is this the way it's going to be in the future? So if we exercise our civil rights, then we're going to have to go to court and settle out of court then with these big corporations for millions and millions of dollars for us, wanting to protect our communities. I'm not really too cool on that.
No, not exactly. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. We got a couple more minutes here too left. And you got any more solar news, or do you got any solar sports going down?
I think we should talk about the sports here, Robert, because the Minnesota Vikings, Robert, are now back in the hunt for the Super Bowl with the addition of Kyler Murray. Robert, understand now, they got this guy for a league minimum of $1 million. This guy is a pro quarterback for $1 million. The Arizona Cardinals are going to pay his salary for the year, basically. And Kyler Murray wanted to get out of there. Incidentally, he's also been a lifelong Minnesota Vikings fan. So we're setting the stage here, Robert. I mean, if this guy he could have a Sam Darnold type year and take the Queens all the way to the ball. And I'm telling you, it is going to be an exciting season because Kyler Murray can run the ball. He can throw the ball. He can do all kinds of things, which is going to give Kevin O'Connell the opportunity to really spread the offense and really have a good time. And I see JJ being the top receiver in the league this year. I see Aaron Jones and the rest of the backfield having a good season. TJ Hawkinson putting up a record year at tight end. Jordan Addison becoming a all-star wide receiver. This is going to be an exciting year for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, you heard it here first, or at least second, here on Native Roots Radio. That's amazing. And I'm waiting for the invite to your suite so I can watch the season opener and see how this happens here. Speaking of season opener, the Twins are opening it up soon, and I don't know. They have no pitching, and this is going to be hard.
Oh man, I just hope Royce Lewis and Buxton can stay healthy this year. I think the team is really going to need them if we're going to do anything, really honestly. But I'm a diehard Minnesota Twins fan, Robert, just like you are, and I go with the highs and lows with this team.
No doubt. Well, Bob, thanks for stopping in. Great seeing you, and congratulations to all the things that are happening with you and your organization. Well deserved. Thank you so much for coming on.
Miigwech, thank you. That's the Solar Bear with the Solar News and Sports.
Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. Have a great weekend. We'll see you all later. This is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety.